A lot of you guys are doing terrific work doing your exposure therapy and your exercise. And I commend you because it's the hardest work that you're going to do during your benzo recovery, I think, is pushing back against the symptoms, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, going for walks, exercising, doing the exposure, the constant nagging of cognitive reframing that we have to do 70 times a day. Every time our intrusive thoughts come sneaking up behind us and smacking us in the back of the head, we have to turn around, reframe, get rid of them. And it's just a constant process of doing this, right? It's a constant process of waking up every day, figuring out what we're going to eat, and doing all these little micro life management things that we never really had to pay attention to before. It's a constant process of exercising, which is so draining and can be so painful, and it can actually make symptoms feel a little worse for a moment. The exposure, which is like putting yourself in a perceived danger in your brain. I mean, it could be as simple as just walking to the mailbox, like it was for me. That's how I got started. Or going to the lawn and garden section of any, Walmart or something, and walking around and fighting off those panic attacks daily. They seem almost counterintuitive. It's like, I think I should just be laying in bed and trying to relax and just wait for this stuff to sort of disappear. I can tell you, for most cases, 99% of the cases I've dealt with, that's just not the preferable method. We have to push back against this stuff, and it all needs to be done with a certain grace, with an ebb and flow, and within the right timing and the right pacing. So for me, I started with walking to the mailbox and back. I mean, literally, that's how I began. I was working out with little rubber bands. I started so small, and over a period of months, I built up a certain momentum, and the exposure therapy was starting to work, and I was pushing my boundaries in that regard. I was able to walk further. I was able to do more exercises. The cognitive reframing, I was getting better at that. I was getting better at identifying these lying voices in my head and just jumping out of the way, just ebbing and flowing, bobbing and weaving, like I'm dodging punches. Every thought was like a punch coming at me neurologically, and I just would roll with it like a boxer to teach you to roll with the punches. And I kept doing what I'm doing, whether it's gardening or whatever I was doing, ebbing and flowing. But it's so tedious. It's such tough work, and I commend you guys that are out there fighting the good fight. It's worth it. I believe in it. I've watched so many people get such great results, including myself, from this hard work. But now I want to talk about something that I think is very overlooked, and that is relaxation. And the benefits of relaxation, because it almost seems like one of these things that has no benefits and no reality, in no place in our current reality while you're tapering from benzos. Because the idea is, how the hell am I going to relax if I'm laying on a bed of needles or spikes, or I'm laying on hot coals, and you're telling me to relax, Dave? Come on. But the thing is, it's really not about relaxing. It's about the effort of trying to relax. We should be trying to relax on a daily basis. And even if only for 15 to 30 minutes a day, you take a hot bath or a shower or get in a hot tub or lay down and do some stretching and breathing exercises and maybe light an incense or put on some nice music. We need to do this, because this is the only thing literally throughout our day that is actually, it's almost like a vitamin that we're taking to promote positive mental health, right? To promote good neurotransmission, so to speak. Now, when we do you might say, well, Dave, I thought that's what the exercise and the exposure and all that stuff was. In a sense, it is. But more so, think about cognitive reframing, exposure therapy, and exercise is more like defensive moves. We're rolling with the punches. We're trying to show our brain that there is no danger, imminent danger approaching us. There's no tiger or anything that we need to run from. It's defensive stuff. It's dodging punches, really. It's stopping, creating a buffer and helping our body become stronger and manage to endure this heavy war that we're in, this heavy battle we're in. But it's not punching back necessarily. It's pushing back, and it's warding off worse things. I say, if you do the exercise and the exposure, it'll help with not getting completely agoraphobic or suicidally depressed, it'll help. And in regards to all of that stuff, if you do gradual exposures, this is one thing I haven't seen in a lot of videos people talking about. If you do the gradual exposure, by me going from the mailbox, I literally couldn't walk to the mailbox. I'd open the door, I get dizzy, heart rate goes up. I'm like, I can't do this, panic attack, come over you. But then you get to the mailbox and you come back and you do it 2 or 3 times a day after a few weeks. And then you could go to the stop sign. You can go around the block. You just start pushing back. What they don't tell you is it has a sort of trickle down general effect on all of your mental health. It's positive in a much greater regard than just, okay, now I can walk to the mailbox. It reduces a lot of general anxiety and agoraphobia and depression. It has a general effect. So, but still, nonetheless, it is a defensive thing. It's sort of warding this stuff from getting worse, warding it off, from getting worse. Now, relaxation is actually promoting positive health. It's promoting, when you feel good, that's good neurotransmitters working there. It's good neurochemistry. And when you feel bad, you can kind of think of it as, negative chemistry. So all we do in benzo withdrawal is feel bad. Even if we do the exposure, even if we do the exercise and the cognitive frame, it's all hard stuff. It all hurts. It can even feel counterintuitive. In fact, if we do too much exposure, if we do too much exercise, we can actually weaken ourselves further. We can hurt ourselves more. It should definitely be done at a very gradual pace and everything. But relaxation, promoting positive mental health is something that we don't do enough during this process. We just sort of, it's almost like we're in the military. We wake up at the crack of dawn and we're fighting. We're running 5 miles in the rain and doing push-ups and all this stuff. And there's never a moment in the military where they say, okay, you ran 5 miles, and let's get in the hot tub and listen to some Enya or some kind of pretty music or something. They don't do that. It's just grind, because they're preparing you to endure this war. So in a way, I've been doing that with the exposure and the exercise and the cognitive reframing and all that stuff that I've been having you do, the diet, the sleep, all of that. But the one thing that a lot of us don't do enough of anyway is promote relaxation. It's just take 15 to 30 minutes to lay in a hot tub or a bathtub or something and just not be in a meditative state, not to say I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to empty my mind, because that doesn't work for most of us, but to reconnect with the body. I would get in a hot tub anywhere from 1 to 3 to 4 times a day, depending on how terrible I felt during my benzo withdrawal, And every time I knew the power of getting your mind behind an action, that the mind will follow the body will follow the mind. That's pretty well understood. And so I said, all right, Dave, when you get in this hot tub or if it's a shower or a bath, stop thinking about everything if you can, and just start focusing on being there, being in the body, reconnecting, focusing on the relaxation. It's not about me willingly trying to not have a thought. That's not what I'm saying. But just focusing. Focusing is different than, sheer concentration or sheer, trying to remove mental content, mental thoughts and the rumination. In fact, when you try to do that, they usually just come back even stronger, right? So, but if you're laying there in a bathtub and you're looking at the bubbles and you're looking at your fingers and you're feeling your toes in the warm water and you're feeling your calves and your thighs, and you're sort of entering your body and you're just having a kind of a present moment, and you're trying to not just be present, but you're trying to feel good. You're fighting, you're pushing back almost like you would with the exposure stuff, but in regards to, you're pushing back to feel good. You're trying to open a window, neurologically speaking, for yourself. That's a good way to think of it. You're trying to open a window. And so a lot of people will get discouraged because the window seems like it's nailed shut, it's bolted shut. And they're like, why should I take 15 to 30 minutes to lay in a hot tub and try to, why? Well, because it works eventually. It eventually starts to catch on. You'll crack the window maybe for 5 minutes one time. Maybe it takes you a month to get there. It's worth it. And even if you don't feel it at the moment, you're still doing positive. Having a positive effect on your recovery. That's well worth it. I mean, I wish I could quantify it somehow to show you. But that's kind of the thing with all of this stuff, is there's no way to show anyone anything. It's all like we're firing in the dark here. How can I show you how good exposure therapy can be or exercise could be for you? How can I show you how bad laying in bed and just waiting for the storm to pass could be for you? I can't, Seeing is believing, doing is believing, getting the results is what's going to convince you. And I can tell you, the people that I've known and worked with, and even myself, that when I got into doing the routine relaxation daily, nightly, 15 to 30 minutes, once it started to work, it was a game changer. I mean, it was the only time I had windows, and then it became, you're fishing for windows. You're out there pushing back, and you're trying to open that window. That becomes the technique. That becomes the practice of, can I open this window? Now, some of you, if anyone's watching this who've never gone through Benzo, he's going, what the hell is he talking about? A window? A window, I'm saying, is a momentary break on some level from the hellacious symptoms that are just punching you from every angle. There's these moments where you go, oh my God, I almost feel normal for a second. Or you might smile, or you might feel the hairs on the back of your neck or your arms stand up because you got the music, it titillated you, or the warm water, you felt it. You felt something other than just suffering, So that's what the routine needs to be. That's what the practice needs to be, is digging and pushing back and trying to get that window open for ourselves daily. I mean, daily. It needs to happen daily. And I'll tell you, in just general psychology, when you get someone who has a panic disorder or anxiety disorder, and general anxiety disorder, the therapists will often tell them, hey, you need to start practicing relaxation. And it's the last thing we do. We'll do the exposure, we'll do the exercise and the cognitive reframing and the diet, we'll do all the other heavy stuff, but we don't do the relaxation because I think it seems trivial. And I'm just trying to tell you guys, it's not trivial. It's the only thing in your day that you're truly going to do, likely, to promote positive mental health, for yourself, positive neurochemistry for yourself, other than the exposure, again, and the exercise, which in a sense does do that for you. But again, it's more about fighting off worse conditions that could manifest, or kind of building up a buffer and a strong point to endure the storm. Take time, to relax. And like I say, make sure you have the right mindset going into the relaxation. You're not laying there trying to empty your thoughts. This isn't Zazen. This isn't a Zen practice necessarily. You're not just trying to be mindful either. You're not just trying to lay there and be present of everything. I'm saying enter your body. And this is where it gets difficult, because you have to understand, we have been trying to separate our consciousness from our body during this whole ride, because our body hurts. Everything hurts. It's inevitably, all of us are trying to separate. We just want to take our brains, our consciousness even, out of our brain. Our brain hurts like our body. And we just want to take our consciousness out and just put it over here for a while and watch and just sort of be disconnected and allow this process to run its course. Let this drug get out of the body, let the body heal, and then we'll get back in the body. The problem with that is, once you disconnect the mind from the body, a lot of bad things happen, worse things happen. You become much more neurotic, and it spells out a lot of bad things, to put it in simple, abstract terms. So connect to the body again. That's my point of this video. So practice relaxation, practice getting into your body, practice, if you want to call it mindfulness or presence in the body. That's it. Don't try to stop your thoughts. And you'll see, you will have a ripple effect, and I think it will really help your recovery.